Sonic X Shadow Generations has been out for roughly a month now, a little bit over that, and has taken the entire gaming world by storm. We all knew this game would hit, and it delivered all that we expected and more. At the end though, not all of us may have a good grasp on what exactly this game was about and how it affects time in the Sonic universe from here. There was a lot of time bending and warping, and I don't blame you if you didn't understand some things. Like, why the hell does Shadow not remember who Mephiles is? And why are we able to go from Chaos Island to Sunset Heights, events that don't take place until years to come? Don't worry, all these things do have answers behind them, and today I'm gonna lay it all out for you. My name is Expendable, and welcome to my explanation of Shadow Generations. Let's talk about the beginning of the game first. Two things are immediately thrown at us. Firstly, that Black Doom is aboard the Ark, calling to Shadow, and secondly, the Time Eater is currently distorting time. The Time Eater predicament makes sense due to the context from the Sonic Generations, but it isn't necessarily clear how Black Doom comes back at the end of Shadow the Hedgehog. At the end of the game, in 2006, it is clear that Shadow unleashed hell upon the Black Arms, goes out of his way to render them extinct, blows up the Black Comet, and seemingly kills Black Doom. Black Doom's death was never shown to us, and it's later confirmed that he just barely survived Shadow the Hedgehog and uses a Black Leech on the Ark to regenerate his body. If you watch the animated prologue, you know that there was a Black Leech on the Ark 50 years ago, sealed in a capsule for experimentation by Gerald Robotnik. By the way, if you are missing any context right now, I'd highly recommend you go watch my previous video on the full story of Shadow. Anyways, Black Doom remains on the Ark after being restored to full health, which would explain why Shadow gets the calling from the Ark to begin with. You might be confused on the whole double white space scenario with Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations, but the explanation isn't all that complicated. Shadow's white space and Sonic's white space are actually in the same plane of reality, which is why Shadow encountered Sonic by the entrance of City Escape after completing Chaos Island. Even with the exception that Shadow's portion of white space is 3D and Sonic's is 2D, they both are placed in the same plane of reality. Shadow's black powers are truly some incredible crap, unlike anything we've ever seen in a Sonic game. After getting used to all the different abilities, I was pretty upset when I watched them fade away after the defeat of Black Doom. These powers were never really Shadows, but Black Dooms. Throughout the entire game, Black Doom is constantly trying to influence Shadow to become one of his greatest weapons. Then when he molds Shadow into the perfect Black Arm soldier, Black Arm would possess him himself to create his Black Arm's army and conquer once again. However, as we know, Shadow does his own thing and defeats Black Doom with these powers. Unfortunately, the death of Black Doom also means his influence on everything is cut off, which permanently disables Shadow's black powers. I'm sure many of you were very confused to be playing a Sonic Forces level 6 years before the game even existed. I personally was dumbfounded when Sega dropped the OST for Chaos Island, and the reasoning for this is not dispersed very well to the player. You need to visit Professor Robotnik close to or after the end of the game, and he will explain to you that white space is not just a shift back in time, but a distortion of it. This meaning that things from both past and future can be present. That brings us to our next point. Throughout the Mephiles boss fight, he is constantly saying that he is fighting for his place back into the timeline, and he expresses his will to want to exist. Shadow has no memory of Mephiles because of the events of Sonic 06, who were erased completely from time. If you know about the story of Sonic 06, at the end of the game, time is reset when Elise blows out the flame. Mephiles is brought back from his lack of existence due to white space's extreme distortion of time. The Black Moon is a major object in the plot of the story, for it is constantly staring at Shadow and faintly interacting with him. This is unlike anything we have seen from the Black Arms, and this is because it is completely new. The Black Moon is the base Black Doom made for himself in white space. The Black Moon also is responsible for granting Shadow all of his new powers, for it needs the Doom tokens from completing levels to ensure Shadow's worthiness to proceed with the process of becoming perfect in Black Doom's eyes. The Black Moon also enters a perfect state when Shadow gains the Doom Wings, which means he is ready to enter and meet the Black Doom to join him. In the beginning of the prologue, Emerl aids in the attack of the Space Colony Ark with the government. This seemed to be setting him up for a bigger role in the game, and honestly he would have been a good boss fight, but it seemed primarily up to Sega to exclude him from the actual gameplay. A logical reason to not have Emerl in Shadow Generations would be due to his sacrifice in Sonic Battle, resulting in his death. This really wouldn't have been a big problem, since White Space can just bring him back with time bending. Very possibly we could be seeing more Emerl, or the Gizioids in general, in future Sonic games. Now, on to the last question. Why the hell does Black Doom obsess over Radical Highway so damn much? He will drop Shadow into Radical Highway any chance he gets. Now, I don't think there is a real reason to why he likes Radical Highway, but I can think of two good theories. But just keep in mind, these are just theories. The first is when Shadow was racing through Radical Highway in Sonic Adventure 2, he arguably was at the peak of his mental disorder and rage. This would be significant for Black Doom because he would need Shadow to resurface those old negative feelings to be a true soldier of evil for him. My second theory is that Radical Highway is simply the area that Black Doom made his base. As we know, you can only play Radical Highway by entering the Black Moon, which is Black Doom's base. This would also make sense and would explain why Black Doom always brings Shadow to this location. Okay, I'm done. Those were all the major questions I could think of answered for Shadow Generations. Even with some not so clear ends to the game, it was a great story and one of the best Sonic games I have played in a long time. Sega did an amazing job with the new mechanics and strong attention to detail in the plot of the games made decades ago, so bravo to them. I hope Sega does more like this in the future. Sonic games become so much more fun when there's an interesting feature that are unique to the game. Anyways, thank you for watching to the end. I hope you sleep easier now with all the loose ends for this game tied in your head. Peace out.